Carl and Lou here from Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial.com for short. Got something special here for you, something I've seen on the interwebs, something I've decided to do. To you, really.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to take part as well, because although I've created it, taking inspiration from the many and many other YouTubers that have done this sort of thing, I thought, fuck it, do it myself.
Okay.
So I'm going to play along as well, but it's mainly for you, and basically it's either or.
Okay.
For horror movies. So the idea is I've got a total of 30 film or this film. Either in the same genre, from the same world, from the same idea, or the same kind of theme. Yeah. The idea being you have to choose one. The other one is gone forever. Doesn't exist, can never be watched again. Just, it's gone.
It's gone. Okay.
So effectively, which is better out of the two is what you're doing here. But the idea being that the other is completely gone. Okay?
Okay.
That's right. You get it?
Yeah.
You get it? Mm-hmm. So take a moment to think about it. Sometimes I think there might be easier answers. Some I can predict for you, being your husband.
Yep.
And likewise for myself, I think I know pretty much what I would choose. But, we're doing it. And also you've got to justify it.
Right.
Justify your choice.
Okay.
Okay. So number one. You ready? Mm-hmm. Scream or I Know What You Did Last Summer?
I'd keep Scream all the way.
Okay.
More memorable characters. I'd put that one on again. I Know What You Did Last Summer. I don't know. I know Scream's a slasher, but there's more iconic scenes in Scream.
Yeah.
I Know What You Did Last Summer. I remember the guy in the Rain Mac. Obviously, the part that was lauded by a scary movie. I think I remember it, but I prefer it.
What are you waiting for? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that. I prefer, Scream all day.
Yeah, I agree. I'm Scream as well for this one. I think what you said, memorable scenes, is really, really important. And initially, the only thing that leads me towards I Know What You Did Last Summer is Freddie Prinze Jr., who I'm a big fan of, right? However, I'm also a big fan of Matthew Lillard, who's in Scream. So good. That kind of wins that one over for me. Yeah. So we're both with Scream. Okay, Halloween or Friday the 13th, the original movies?
Oh, this is a really difficult one.
Yep.
I think personally for me, Halloween.
Okay.
I was kind of differing because it's more like when I actually first saw them, but that doesn't really count into what I'd actually want to keep. But Halloween, from the music, just how it felt very sinister, and the girls were very believable. Yeah, I'd go Halloween.
I agree. It's easy for me. Friday the 13th is an 8 out of 10 movie. Halloween is a 10 out of 10 movie. Yeah. That's it. It's as simple as that. Both are iconic. One is more iconic than the other. Yeah. Okay, this one was hard because I was trying to find a movie that matched up to the dream idea of A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right, okay.
So I've come up with, just to make it really hard, A Nightmare on Elm Street or Candyman.
Ooh. I'd go Candyman.
Okay. You were quick.
There's just something, like when you say the word horror, everything about Candyman is horror. Like, there's no let up. Right? There's no, even like the guy that's supposed to be like even the man's I've forgotten her name. It's really bad.
Who?
The main woman.
Virginia Madsen.
Yeah, but in the
program,
in the film.
Oh, I've forgotten her name. Yeah, I forgot her name. Yeah.
So the main woman, her
Helen.
husband. Yeah, Helen. Like, her husband's a dick. Like the way they are, everything's nasty about it. So what sticks in my mind is it's just come across as horror. So I definitely keep Candyman.
See, for me, it is Candyman as well. Again, similar to Halloween, Candyman is a 10 out of 10, whereas Nightmare on Elm Street might be like a 9, maybe even an 8. I love A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original. I think it's a classic. I'm going to be better. I'd put it, like, if you're ranking those original franchises, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare is second to Halloween over Friday the 13th. But Candyman, to me, is one of the greatest horror movies ever created. Not just for the character, but the whole tone of the film, how it makes me feel, the music. I think it's infinitely rewatchable, which is the case with A Nightmare on Elm Street 2 to a degree. But, I don't know, the character, I guess, to me is more oomph than Freddy. Yeah,
definitely. And there's no kind of jokiness with Candyman. Like, there's no comic relief with Candyman.
Well, there isn't really in the original Nightmare on Elm Street either.
That's the thing. That's later
That's
on.
something that comes later. So that's the thing. When you think of it, you start getting muddled by franchises of what came later. Okay, The Ring or The Grudge? We're talking the original J-horrors here as well. So The Grudge J-horror or the J-horror The Ring.
It's weird because there's an iconic scene in The Grudge that is
The Grudge has a couple of iconic scenes. I think of the bed. I think in the start of that sequence where she's coming out of the toilet, then the bed. But I also think of the dead schoolgirls looking through the newspaper window near the end, which really creeped the fuck out of me.
I think I'd still take The Ring.
Yeah.
I like the flow of the story. It's the creep factors. The creep factors there. Yeah, it's just, and again, it's the horrible idea, and it's I definitely go with The Ring.
Same, 100% on this one for me. I initially was going to put something like The Eye or Dark Water in there instead, but I thought The Ring and The Grudge matched up a little bit more better. The Ring is my iconic J horror one. It's probably arguably the first J horror I ever saw. I'll tell you this quick story, which is I'd been out drinking many years ago. I was still living with my parents here. I'd been out drinking. And I got home really late at night, made some food, and put the TV on. I think I was on Channel 4. And I was sitting there, and it was halfway through The Ring.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck it, whatever this is, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
By the end of it, I was like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah.
Even in that drunken state, had to find it. That started my love affair with J horror. You can't forget certain things, the ending that you never saw coming and things like that. Yeah, The Ring, easy. Okay, The Exorcist or The Omen?
The Exorcist. So sometimes you have to think about it, but a brief thought about it.
That's fine.
The Exorcist. Just horrible when you think about. I mean, it's horrible that Damien's so young as well. But the fact is, I think you get more with Regan. You get her as a cute preteen. She's kind of growing up. She's very sweet, and what she goes through and what the family goes through. Yeah, I think it's horrendous.
This is harder for me. This is legitimately harder. I think The Omen is such a great movie. It's got so many scenes that generally make me feel uncomfortable. The babysitter, the nurse, whatever she is, it's all for you, Damien, jumping off during the party and strangling herself.
Decapitating herself, yeah.
Basically, well, she doesn't decapitate, does she? She just hangs from her neck.
Yeah.
That from the glass sheet that cuts the reporter's head off, even though it's a premonition as well, to even the ending that's so damn beat. It's really, really strong. But obviously it's The Exorcist. It makes it really, really fucking difficult. Yeah. So this one's really hard for me. But I probably would lean towards The Exorcist, I guess. I think.
Yeah.
Dawn of the Dead or Day of the Dead? We are talking the original Romero movies here.
Ooh, difficult one.
Yeah, because they're both extremely excellent.
I used to get them confused quite a lot. And that was just me.
Okay.
Because I'm an idiot. So Dawn of the Dead is underground.
Nope, Dawn of the Dead is in the shopping mall. Day of the Dead is underground with soldiers and stuff.
So I would go for Day of the Dead.
Okay.
Day of the Dead. You got Barb. You got the bleakness. I think Dawn of the Dead is ruined because the makeup's not as good in Dawn of the Dead, and that does take me out of it quite a bit. I think Day is just ultimately bleak. There's a bit of hope at the end. Okay. Yeah, I watch that more.
If you'd asked me when I was younger, I'd have said Dawn. If you'd asked me when I was older, I'd have said Day. We watched these movies a few months ago for a planned in depth that never happened. And I found them both to be almost on the same level. This, now a lot older than I was when I had either of those thoughts. Where there's so much about Dawn that is so fucking good for characters alone. But because Day doesn't have as strong heroic characters as Dawn does. Of course. But Day has Rhodes. Yeah. A great human villain.
Who gets a good
death, good comeuppance. The zombies are so much better. The bleakness, the music. It's Day for me as well. But nowadays, before I would have said it was easy, now it's tight.
And I think the thing of Rhodes as well is you can't completely the way the soldiers are, you can't completely be against them.
No, of course, you can understand.
Yeah, so I feel like you get the weariness of it with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I guess there's an odd one, but I wanted to put two vampire films together, and these were the two I thought might make it most difficult.
Yeah.
Interview with a Vampire or The Lost Boys?
Interview with a Vampire. Easy.
Okay.
Easy. Probably because I've seen Interview with a Vampire. I used to watch it every day for God knows how long and can quote it verbatim.
Yep.
Probably really annoying to watch it with me. I absolutely adore Interview with a Vampire. Lost Boys I've seen a couple of times. I know it's a cult film for a lot of people. Just not seen it as much. So I don't know if I'd be flipped if I'd seen it more.
Unlikely, because you're such a big fan of Interview with a Vampire, I think.
Absolutely, yeah, I adore it. I just think everything, Tom Cruise I don't normally like, but in this, he hams it up perfectly. Brad Pitt is the mopey emo vampire. Antonio Banderas, some of the set pieces, like the Teatro de Vampire. Oh, yeah.
It's the first one I'm going to differ on. For me, it is The Lost Boys. I don't get the attraction to Interview with a Vampire. I can see lots of things that are good about it. I think Tom Cruise. As you say, hamming it up. But I don't necessarily think that's often good. Like, in the sense that, is it should he be that cheesy? Maybe not. I found Brad Pitt in that movie incredibly hard to watch.
You're supposed to find
I
it
think
annoying.
it's so all over the place because of the way it's told, and at times it's incredibly boring. Whereas The Lost Boys, from beginning to end, is 80s fun, comedy, rock music, horror.
I'll be up for watching it again.
The Lost Boys for me.
Yeah.
Okay, The Babadook or Hereditary?
Oh, that's a difficult one.
Yeah, I figured it would be. I think they're both excellent movies, and the reason why I chose to put these together is I think they've got similar themes.
Yeah,
about mental health.
You walk away from both, for me, feeling just a bit uncomfortable because you focus more on the drama, the family issues more than the horror side.
Yep.
So Hereditary, most of the horror comes from the psychological stuff.
Yep.
The weird satanic demon cult stuff just kind of comes as like a little sort of story framer.
Well, same with the Babadook. The fact you question whether the Babadook is a real thing or not, or whether it's actually the deterioration of a woman who can't cope.
I would go with Hereditary because it's still quite a new film in terms of like aged. About 2018, I think it came out.
Well, here's the thing. Before you jump that, right? It'll both star a extremely, extremely excellent strong female role in it. Like, there is that as well. For me, it's the Babadook. Simple. Easy. Okay, From Dusk Till Dawn or Fright Night. So I've chosen two vampire movies here, put them together, that both have comedic elements and over-the-top behaviour. So Fright Night or From Dusk Till Dawn.
I've seen Fright Night once.
Right.
So it's going to be like more swing towards what
That's
I've
fair
seen.
enough.
But From Dusk Till Dawn... think about it. I've not watched it for ages, but like even just thinking about it,
it's a good movie.
Can we put it on?
It's a good movie that's fun, but also has people really stepping up to good roles. Harvey Keitel is fantastic in it. I mean, George Clooney's great in it. Quentin Tarantino plays his role with aplomb.
It's like you can pick out. It's like a highlight reel as well. Like you've got most of it's in the titty twister. But like the RV becomes its own like
it's sexy. Because I mean, remember the whole thing with that movie was the whole you think you're watching some sort of kidnapping heist movie and all that, and it turns into a vampire flick.
Yeah, just the twist of it.
Titty twister.
Twister. Yeah, just the way it goes, and everyone kind of just gets into it and has fun with it. It's nice seeing George Clooney with a bit of edge as well.
He was very, very sexy as a kid watching him, man. I had that very confusing moment as a young teenager, being like, why is he the most attractive? I know you got Salma Hayek.
I think that's pretty for most girls, pretty good.
But like, you know, like George Clooney and that, like I knew of the man, like I knew the name from ER, but I didn't know him. And like it was like shit, like whew.
But it's like when you watch it back now, you kind of think how cleverly written it, how cool
it's
it was.
a very, very clever movie.
Because vampires can read minds. So the fact that she knew that Quentin Tarantino had a foot fetish, that's why she honed in on him. She knew what he would really get off on. I was like, yeah, cool. So there's something not like...
See, while I'm praising this, I'm actually going to go the other way.
Oh.
It's Fright Night. Of course it's Fright Night. This is me you're talking about. A movie I've watched 100 times that still entertains me. It's a very clever vampire story that combines sex, gore and action with violence and vampire behaviour with a traditional take in it as well, to the point where he has to be invited in and that behaviour. It's Jerry Dandridge. He's good looking. Chris Sarandon plays him, and Chris Sarandon at this point in his career and his life was to look at. Very, very, very easy seducible and so on. Plus the comedic elements that you get throughout the movie. The characters, it's a beaut. There's so many great scenes that I can quote now. His dinner's in the oven. I mean, Is it like that scene to like, you know, to the part where Jerry faces off with Price, and he's got the cross, and it's all like he doesn't believe in God, so he doesn't work in him. And Jerry as a vampire is like, you have to believe in God, and it's great. It's a great movie. Fright Night's arguably one of my all-time favourite vampire movies. I really wanted to put, I'm pretty sure I didn't get it in the end. Yeah, I wanted to find something to match up with 30 Days of Night. Yeah. But I couldn't find anything that matched up with that.
Because that's a real contender.
Yeah, like against a movie that had vampires in that style was really, really tough. That would be a difficult choice. Because there are movies in that style, but that would be a difficult choice where you're not just instantly going 30 Days of Night, because that's probably my modern favourite vampire horror.
Definitely. Oh.
Anyway, The Evil Dead or The Evil Dead 2. It's effectively the same two films, but one's comedic, one's not.
I think I go with Evil Dead 2.
Same here.
I like the comedic elements because they are kind of interspersed with like it getting really nasty. So it's like,
yeah, it is. It's that. I agree as well. Bruce Campbell with a bit of tongue-in-cheek comedy while still having that horror. The extended story and built upon extra characters that come into that movie, plus the ending. Yeah, it's superior for me. Bye Bye Evil Dead. Okay, here's a tough one. To do this, please do not immediately think of the franchises. Think of the original movies and what they did. The Blair Witch Project or Paranormal Activity. Now, this is, to me, is actually really fucking difficult. Because you've got... It's with Paranormal Activity in particular, it's easy to get lost down that rabbit hole of what it became, not what that movie was. So both super low budget, found footage style horrors.
I'm
dealing with spooky stuff.
Still going to go with the Blair Witch Project. I still am. You just pulled into their story, and like the moment they say they've lost a map and they're lost, and they're tired, and everything is just. You want them to get out of it, but you already know they didn't, because obviously it's like the beginning of it. The part at the end really stuck, like the ending really stuck with me. That image is something I'll never forget from a horror film. So for that reason, I'd have to have that.
Are you ready for some controversy here? I'm going to say Paranormal Activity. I'm going to say Paranormal Activity because of rewatchability. I rewatched Blair Witch, I think last year we did it for an in-depth, and while I still thoroughly enjoy it and think it's got some absolute top-drawer scares, there's a lot I actually find quite boring and at times pointless. Paranormal Activity is a classic found footage horror movie for its tension building. The fact that it would sit you in front of this static camera where nothing happens but a sheet moves. And it leads to a very, very successful and very impactful payoff. I also think the characters are important. I think they're way more likeable and easier to get along with than compared to what you experience in the Blair Witch. Okay. It just isn't a rundown of the Blair Witch Project. It is a classic, and it's arguably the first found footage movie that pushed it into the mainstream. It's a very difficult choice. But when I really think about it, I'm like, if you ask me which one I would have preferred to watch tomorrow, I'm going to choose Paranormal Activity. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. That's it. Yeah. Saw or Hostel? So torture porn. Which one?
I think Saw, because I like the whole kind of like the mystery element more than Saw. Hostel, whilst I could watch it, it's alright. I didn't like the characters in it.
Okay.
The beginning of it, the whole sex tourism part of it, like just kind of like just not likeable guys going out. They're both grubby. Yep. So Hostel, when it gets properly into it, is really grubby. But Saw, I do like the whole. It kind of becomes more of a. Yeah, it's a thriller horror, isn't it? Kind of like, oh, there's two men in a. It's kind of something like a really gruesome escape room or like an online thing that you play and that. So. Yeah, and at the ending, when it kind of gets revealed, you're like,
incredible.
Yeah, you sit there doing all that, and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I agree. That's Saw for me. However, I do want to praise Hostel for doing something I like more than Saw, which is villains getting their comeuppance. Obviously, some of the people involved in the torture get killed at the end of it by the survivor. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, I do like
Saw is grim from beginning to end. Here's one that I think is impossible for me. Night of the Demons or Demons? So this is Demons, the 1980s horror movie that's set in the cinema. Night of the Demons is obviously the super cheesy 80s one set in a house. Angela. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Obviously Demons, Dario Argento as well.
Yeah.
Both have great soundtracks, both have great set of characters, both have a lot of gore and violence.
That's a difficult.
It is really very, very difficult. I know which one I have to. I'll do mine first. Then for me, it has to be Demons, purely because while I've always loved Night of the Demons, Demons I consider one of my all-time favorite horror movies. I have some of it tattooed on my back. It's caused me nightmares, but I thoroughly enjoy its cheesiness as much as anything else. Yeah, it's got to be Demons.
I'm gonna go for Night of the Demons.
Okay.
I think I just like the whole. It looks very 80s. The dance that Angela does.
Yeah, I mean it's a great movie.
Yeah, it's a really good film. And some of the characters not what you expected as well.
Oh yeah, the flip around. Yeah.
I really appreciated that because I didn't have to do it in an 80s film.
Yeah, that JB and the white meat boyfriend, seemingly perfect, actually turns out to be a dickhead. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, we differed on that. This should be easy.
Yep.
Night of the Living Dead or The Return of the Living Dead. I mean, which one am I choosing?
Oh God!
I've done it because of the whole Living Dead part than anything else. And obviously Return of the Living Dead was originally going to be a sequel to Night of the Living Dead, but the split between the two writers, Russo and Romero, saw Russo retain the terms Living Dead, whereas George A. Romero went with Night became Of the Dead rather than Living Dead. So that's why they're kind of linked. But it's Return of the Living Dead. It is my favourite horror movie, has been for pretty much 20 odd years now, maybe longer than that. I love it.
I'm going to go Return of the Living Dead as well.
No shade on Night of the Living Dead. It's a classic.
It is, but I'd watch Return of the Living Dead like over and over.
Yeah.
From that, it's just it's just fun. It's good soundtrack. It's a different kind of zombie. It still looks and holds up well now.
Agreed. Right, here's the next most impossible one. I had to try and find movies that matched up with together, and I went under this because I couldn't basically do this film and its sequel because they're not. One's a horror, one's an action film.
Okay.
So it wouldn't work. But I realised the whole from space thing worked.
Yeah.
The Thing or Alien.
Oh, you're a tricksy one.
So I think this is arguably the most impossible one to do. I know which way I naturally want to lean.
I'm going to go for The Thing because I find it slightly more scary because it's actually set on Earth.
Okay.
So it's somewhere that's it's more likely that you would go somewhere like the
Antarctica, yeah, more likely.
Yeah, I could go to Antarctica.
I feel like I'm more likely to go to space than Antarctica.
Yeah, because I fucking hate the cold, so I probably would. Oh no, space is cold. Oh, I ain't going neither. But I just think The Thing. I think you are tricksy with this one, but the special effects, like I'm still impressed when I see the chest scene.
But Alien's designs and Alien design, the creature itself, still incredibly holds up for a 1979 movie. It's older than The Thing.
I'm still going by 2 years. I think it's that 2 years. I'm sure.
Maybe. I think you're right.
I'm still going to go for the Thing.
Yeah, I almost want to.
Find it scarier.
I almost want to refuse to do this one because to me it seems sacrilege to choose one over the other. To lose Alien is harsh. I initially was like, but The Thing has one of your most iconic horror scenes, but so does Alien. I'm talking about the leader of the group with the flame torch going through the tunnels and the aliens. He turns and the aliens at the side. And it's a jump scare, but it's such iconic. Yeah, like that is amazing. If I'm forced to do it, I'm gonna probably lean towards The Thing because I think, but then both Alien and The Thing are 10 out of 10 movies.
Yeah, they are.
It's so fucking difficult. It's gonna come down to literally the most minor thing, which is, what's something really small that I can point out that differentiates between the two? It ain't effects because the effects are spectacular in both. It ain't the characters because the characters are spectacular in both. Alien, not Aliens.
Alien's slightly more story. Bit more story, and you
they're both excellent stories told well. Okay, I'm going to choose Alien.
Okay,
I'm going to choose Alien because The Thing has one or two points that are a little bit messy. A good example of that is the sudden fact that the Thing comes under the floor and then rises up really high. That effect isn't so great. Also, the ending is so ambiguous.
That's how they make
I like it. No, I love it, but Alien is definitive and tells you this and. You know?
And how they make the No. Sorry, I'm thinking of the remake.
No.
Ended before.
I've chosen Alien. That's it. I'm going to choose Alien. I'm going to stick to Alien, although it's very near impossible. An American Werewolf in London or Dog Soldiers. I've chosen them because both are werewolves. Both are funny. It is easy in my head.
I like American Werewolf in London.
Same here. As much as I think Dog Soldiers is a great fucking movie.
It's not a classic,
I think it deserves classic, I think it does deserve classic. People tend to go with Neil Marshall and just talk about The Descent. He deserves a ton of prop for bringing werewolves and making it entertaining. A brilliant group of characters who normally you get the whole soldier stuff and you just can't get into it. These guys are fucking individually layered. It's cool as shit.
Maybe I've not remembered it as well then.
But American Werewolf in London is glorious. Simple as that, really, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, Critters or Gremlins? So the original Critters movie or Gremlins?
Oh, see, I like Gremlins 2 more, so I'd say Critters.
Okay.
Because Gremlins, I didn't get into it as much. I think maybe I was ruined because I watched Gremlins 2 more, tons more. I remember everything about Gremlins 2. So yeah, Critters. I think it's the first experience to seeing the Krites.
Yep. Yeah, oh yeah, right there, exactly that. Yeah, I mean, I agree with this as well. Growing up, I actually never cared for Gremlins. I always remember being disappointed back because when I was getting a horror, and eventually got around to watching Gremlins, and then thinking it ain't much of a horror movie, whereas Critters, had gore.
Yeah.
Had violence and gore. It's fun to rewatch because it is so 80s. I love little factoids about it and things. You know, the kid that plays Bradley happens to be the voice of Steve Smith in American Dad, which I adore. You know, he's a great vocalist and stuff like that. Critters, yeah. Although, like, franchise-wise, Critters is, you know, although Gremlins isn't a franchise, sequel-wise then, Gremlins 2, I'd say, is better than Critters 2.
It's more
For me, it's
entertaining.
Critters.
I think because it takes a story and it's a lot quicker because you've got the Gremlins now. Let's put them into the building block and have some fun with them.
Gremlins doesn't have Power Over the Night. Doesn't have Johnny Steele. So there you go. Yeah. House on Haunted Hill remake or The Haunting remake?
House on Haunted Hill. The Haunting is
terrible. So is House on Haunted Hill. I know nostalgia blinds people. I know nostalgia makes you remember that movie as being fantastic. It is not. But it does have fantastic moments. The Haunting has none of that.
No. Oh, I'm thinking about it now. Oh, it's so cringy, and all doing it, taking it so seriously. Like the bird that's in it's the one from like The Conjuring, the first one, isn't she? She's the mum, and
I can't remember the actress's name.
I was
I
going
know
to
it's
say
got Catherine. No, it's not her. No,
not her.
no, that's she is in The Conjuring, but not who you think.
The
It's got Catherine Zeta-Jones, Owen Wilson, Liam Neeson.
Decent. Yeah.
So it's got a good cast, but not a strong set of acting or characters.
They take it too seriously for what it is, whereas the House on Haunted Hill remake, it's.
I don't know. Some people take it a little bit too seriously. What knocks it up a level is Jeffrey Rush. Jeffrey Rush is the reason why House on Haunted Hill deserves to go above it. Because he isn't taking it fucking seriously. Yeah. Same as Famke Janssen, to be fair. Those two, brilliant.
Yeah, them two, their scenes together.
But don't get me started about Ali Lata.
Oh no, yeah, that's what I mean. But like overall, it's a shit ending and things like that. But bits when it gets it right, it's good fun.
The first half an hour, the 45 minutes of House on Hill are really, really good.
Yeah.
The second half of House on Hill is terrible, like so bad in my opinion. Yeah. But Haunting, I think, is bad all the way through.
It really is. I'm just picturing the bit at the end and
shouting at the ghost and Myra, stand up to you. I'm not afraid of you. Oh no.
Get in the bin.
Okay, right. Scream 2 or Urban Legend? I thought these two matched up quite nicely. So they're both about the same time.
Don't remember much about Urban Legend.
Okay.
I know there's a bit where someone's getting killed and someone doesn't hear because she's got headphones on.
Yep, she thinks she's having sex because she's all gothic and stuff like that. Yep.
But then, I still think back then the headphones weren't that great. I think still struggle. But no, I didn't. Scream 2 has got his good looking boyfriend. Is that him? Is that Scream 2 or is that Scream 3?
Scream 2, isn't it? The villains of it is the guy that likes movies and the mother of...
Oh, yeah, the eyes.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Much.
Timothy... Oliphant.
Okay,
of course, very young.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go for Scream 2 then.
Madness. There is no... This is an easy one.
I have to rewatch Urban Legend.
Urban Legend, I do not think is a particularly good movie, but I think for the slasher boom that we're having in that period, it tries to do something original, has some cool ideas, has a cool villain that I like the twist in it, like that I quite enjoy that aspect of things. Scream 2 for me has so many things wrong with it that I just don't enjoy. And the simple one is fucking villains. The only thing I enjoy is Jamie Kennedy gets off in it. Yay. But that's about it. Scream 2, no, I don't like any of the Scream sequels. But Urban Legend, for all its flaws, I enjoyed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Original It or modern It? So this is obviously a debatable one. They're two very different movies, but they are the same story.
Oh, because Tim Curry,
Well, let's take nothing away from the guy that plays... I can't remember who plays him in modern day. He does an excellent variation on it.
It's not Sportscore.
It's Skarsgård. Somebody Skarsgård.
Because there's loads of them.
Brothers and the Father and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
A clan, yeah.
That's a bit weird, isn't it? Tribe of them. It's difficult because they had the budget in the remake. Some of the scenes can be better realised in the modern one.
This is easy.
Oh,
this is easy.
The original?
No, the remake. Of course, a modern It, not remake, the modern It. Look, nostalgia blinds people with this as well. The original It, while take Tim Curry out of it, the movie is like fucking... Way too
It
long.
has a lot in
Has
it,
some nonsensical, boring ass scenes. Please explain me the sequence that involves that kid going in the house, getting attacked by the mummy and saying birds out loud that apparently stops it in its tracks for whatever fucking reason.
We've not seen the second part though, so can we be...
Yes.
We've not seen the second
No, I can because I've seen enough of it. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Based on the first part alone. First and the first part alone. No, for me, it's modern it. Are you saying original it then?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. 28 Days Later or the Crazies remake. The one with Timothy Olyphant in it. So this was chosen because I felt these two combined affections well enough. So the Crazies remake is surprisingly good. I think the original Crazies is a solid movie, Romero's film. But the remake has got some surprisingly tense moments, some nice violence and gore. Timothy Olyphant, I'm a big fan of. I don't know what it is about him. I don't think he's a particularly great actor, but I enjoy him. I enjoy him in this.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoy him in this as well. 28 Days Later, though. It's 28 Days Later.
It's got to be 28 Days Later.
It is, for me too, 100%. 28 Days Later is just absolutely wonderful. A wonderful movie from beginning to end with characters cast, scary, terrifying. Plus, we know it. Where it takes place is our city.
Yeah.
Where its scenes are shot are places I've walked down.
Yeah, and you
I feel it.
picture it.
I'm
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
That's extra special. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre or the Hills of Eyes?
Ooh.
So I've gone for two sort of like family of freaks here, so to speak.
Yeah.
Tough because they're both great movies.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I would like to say to people that of the remakes, and I know Texas have had a lot, but let's just say the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake and the Hills of Eyes remake. Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake is shit.
Yeah.
The Hills of Eyes remake is very, very good.
Yeah, we
very,
did,
very
didn't we?
good. Yeah, it's even got a decent enough sequel. For me, though, originals,
I think this
Texas.
I think there's something about the way he first bursts out.
Yep, shit like that is
Still,
incredible.
it
It's
like-
raw as fuck.
Yeah, it stays in your memory like fucking hell. And the fact like people in there's no like the filmmakers. There's no kind of like people in wheelchairs like
No,
that's
he
it.
gets
That's
chainsawed
it.
through. Yep,
Yeah.
dead.
like there's no these people have got no emotion at all. Like they don't stop at like anything. So it's not like this guy's in a wheelchair. We'll just maim him a little bit. No, everyone gets slaughtered.
Nope, I agree.
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, although I do heavily praise The Hills of Eyes. Carrie or Christine? Now, I know these are two very different movies,
I've not
but they're
seen
both
Christine.
Stephen King, and they've both got women names in them. So Carrie and Christine. So obviously Christine's about the car, the possessed car, and obviously Carrie, you know
I've not
Carrie.
seen Christine, so I'm going to have to say Carrie. And there is some there's some really good scenes in Carrie. It's because there's not loads that happens. It's all in that one prom scene. There's the odd thing that happens, but it's all that one night. So you really feel for Carrie. So you're following it all the way along. So by the time you get to prom, you're like, yeah, fuck these people. And there's a bit of it I don't know if it actually happens. So the people that are supposed to be nice to her, the curly haired Tommy and his girlfriend, do they really start laughing, or is it just what she pictures them doing? Because in my head I'm like, am I still supposed to like the other two?
No, I think it's shot in a way that's almost like she's seeing everyone
I think
laughing
she's seeing
at her.
everyone
Yeah.
laughing while it's actually happening. But aside from that, just and when you meet the mum, she's so far gone that you really feel for Carrie. So when she gets her Rwenge, Carrie. Christine sounds stupid.
I love Christine.
But
I think it's so fucking good. A proper underrated horror from Stephen King. I think it manages to be clever, smart, scary, but simply put, it's the relationship between, I can't remember the character's name, him and the car, and how it corrupts him and drives him to behave in the way he does. I love that. However, Carrie is pretty much gold a lot of the way through. Strong characters, strong leading roles, scary, terrifying, sad.
Yeah,
That's why Carrie
a big
wins.
thing,
Yeah. Brain Dead or Basket Case?
Oh.
Now, I know Basket Case is cheesy, but I really like Basket Case. Belial is a character that always sticks in my mind forever. But Brain Dead's Brain Dead. Brain Dead is silly, it's cheesy.
It reminds me of my childhood.
Zombie fucking gore, incredible effects. Brain Dead.
I was allowed to watch it way too young. It makes me, some of the parts make you feel sick. Stomach churning. It's over, it just gets it. And you're watching it back now, you're going, yeah, that's good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%, yeah, absolutely. Hellraiser or Hellbound, Hellraiser 2. So there we go.
Ooh.
So obviously Hellraiser, iconic. for all the right reasons. But a lot of us at GBHBL, I'm not alone in this thought, do strongly believe that Hellbound is the superior movie. Really stepping up in the sequel department, developing characters more, and adding a certain... Yeah, get Dr. Shanard, and adding a certain level of cheese to certain things while still being horrific. For me, it's Hellbound. And you can say, well, Hellbound and Hellraiser 2 wouldn't exist, but Hellraiser 1, we know that. Yeah. It's not the fucking point. But yeah, for me, if you said to me, let's watch a Hellraiser movie, I'd be like, Hellbound!
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think that thinking, like Hellraiser, there's some really good scenes in it.
Of course.
But in Hellraiser, you get to see behind that, but not completely. Like,
you mean Hellbound?
Yeah. I want to go with Hellbound.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get to see behind the curtain a little bit.
You go into the world, realm. Yeah.
Yeah, and that Dr. Shanard, like, there's a reason why the model's so fucking expensive.
Yep.
It looks incredible, and that someone actually had the idea of doing that.
A couple of puns from him as well.
Oh,
get some puns from him.
We do like puns. So yeah, definitely go with that.
Cool. I feel like we're going to be on agreeing this one as well. House of a Thousand Corpses or The Devil's Rejects? The Devil's Rejects. Come on, man. Right, House of a Thousand Corpses is very cool, but ultimately it's just ripping off Texas Chainsaw Massacre and stuff like that. Yeah. But also, what I think people forget about House of a Thousand Corpses is that at times it's nonsensical. The really fucking long-winded joke sequence and the performance on the stage and Baby and all that. But also, it fucking falls apart in the last third with Dr. Satan and the ritual and going underground. And Dr. Satan's alive, and is he a monster / sinister... Like, is there like spooky shit going on rather than just normal people being evil as fuck? Devil's Rejects went, nah, they basically are just evil as fuck. But what he did really brilliant in Devil's Rejects, which I'll always praise him for, was he made a set of characters that are every bit way bad and that made you care about them.
Yeah, because at the end...
That is stunning work.
Yeah, because there's a big...
But then you almost feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
But Devil's Rejects has some of the most iconic scenes and lines. Best example is Sid Haig, who is in House of a Thousand Corpses, but he's not that important. Fucking Devil's Rejects, he is on fire.
Oh, this is the ice cream. This is the ice cream one,
yeah.
isn't it?
Tutti Frutti. Tutti fucking Frutti.
Yeah. Okay. Right,
From that to fucking obviously Otis's speech at I'm the devil and I'm here to do the devil's work. The bit next words out your mouth better be Mark Twain shit, boy, because it's getting etched in his too. Fucking Devil's Rejects is Rob Zombie's crowning glory. For all my criticism of him as a director and creator, which is I'm very, very hot anti his work these days, I will always look at Devil's Rejects as a horror classic. But I do still really like House. I really do. It's interesting to go back and watch it and see people like Rainn Wilson in it and stuff like that, you know? Oh, it's been a long time, but like for me, Devil's Rejects just is such a step up. I mean, that ending, doing the entire Freebird song, like that, it's a great movie. So Devil's Rejects for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember much of like House. I mean, I've seen it a couple of times. I think I actually saw it at the cinema and people walked out of it. So.
That makes sense.
No, I saw Devil's Rejects in the cinema and people walked out of it. Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with that because I think...
I've talked you around it, but I just reminded you, right? Yeah, you
did. Yeah, you remember the cool bits and the road trip element. I think I preferred.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Resident Evil or Silent Hill? So these are the movie adaptations of Resident Evil and Silent Hill. Both starting franchises off, so to speak. Silent Hill only had 2 movies, whereas Resident Evil have had quite a fucking lot.
Oh, I'm going to go with Silent Hill. It made me feel like I was in the game more. Just from... It did make me feel like I was more in the game.
If you want to know more about my full thoughts on Resident Evil and Silent Hill, please go to the channel, go to the playlist They Made What Into a Movie, and you'll find me and Damon have talked both these movies through. Here's the thing. I agree with you. I prefer Silent Hill because I think it's as closer to a game adaptation than you get. But it's the fact you said it makes you feel like being in a game, that's made me go...
No, I meant visually. Like
visually, it's got some stunning shit going on.
If someone said, like, just come into this film, what's that game?
Resident Evil does labs and shit, so I can argue that Resident Evil does a decent job.
Yeah, but if I think Resident Evil, I think House at the beginning.
Okay, I mean...
See what I mean? See my thinking now? I think Resident Evil, I'd go either like the police, like, you'd think the classic scenes of Resident Evil. The lab part could be from any kind of, like, sci-fi, like... sci-fi thriller.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I would justify my choice. My choice is this, and see if you agree. So Resident Evil is very, very strong story. and knew that it didn't want to do the game, so had to come up with its own thing. Brought in Mila Jovovich, who is wonderful. Well, no, fuck that. No, we'll say this right now. We've just had a movie that attempted to not just do the game, but did 2 of them in one, called Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. It is worse.
What, the house at the beginning?
The mansion.
Yeah.
Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City is part Resident Evil 2 and the original Resident Evil. They end up at the Spencer Mansion. It's set in Raccoon City. It is the most video game adaptation we've ever seen. If you read the review I wrote on the site, you'd have seen that I said that you will never see a true adaptation of Resident Evil ever again.
Yeah.
And you never will, because the movie fucking sucked. It is worse than a lot of the Mila Jovovich movies. Not all of them.
Okay, she was the coolest thing. I do remember, like,
Mila held that shit together, the franchise.
Yeah.
But as adaptations go, I feel that Silent Hill did a better job of it. And there are more things I like in Silent Hill, how they're visually shown, from the change into the other world, to the fog city, to the characters. It is Silent Hill. Silent Hill also has that incredibly violent finale that just shocks you. Barbed wire up her vag, ripping her in half. What the fuck, film? Yeah, Silent Hill. Yeah. Poltergeist or the Amityville Horror. Tough.
It is tough, because they're both obviously family.
Family, haunted houses is what I've gone for here.
Difficult one. Because Poltergeist is Poltergeist. I thought about it for a little bit. I think I'd happily watch Poltergeist over the Amityville.
Yep.
Yeah. There's just more classic parts to it, and I care more for the dad's relationship in the family in this one than Amityville.
I agree. For me, it is Poltergeist. To me, it is one of the most classic horror movies out there that I still enjoy to these days. I am a big fan of the Amityville Horror, even though its legacy has been completely and utterly wrecked by an abusive franchise, to the point where I can't even look at the original one anymore without thinking about what comes after. Simply as that. But I also heavily dislike the fact that people out there decided this story was real without any real look into it and things like that. And that always kind of annoyed me about it. Whereas Poltergeist is like, no, we're not pretending it's real. We just got a scary story here. Sequel wise, neither franchise did well.
No.
But Poltergeist, yes. 2 more to go. Are you ready for the most impossible one yet, maybe?
Go on.
Wreck or The Night Eats the World. Oh. So this is 2 zombie horrors. I chose them because I knew in my heart of hearts are 2 of my favourite zombie horror movies.
Oh, it's really difficult, because like The Night Eats the World, I'll bang anyone that listens to me, I'd bang on about it and say watch it. Like, if you want something different, and because it's on Netflix, everyone's got Netflix. I'm like, go and find it.
Not anymore. It's on Amazon now.
Oh, Amazon. Well, it's on their streaming site.
Yep.
But I think Wreck, for me, because it kind of started the trilogy of films. Well, no, it's quadrilogy.
4, yeah.
Quadrilogy?
4 films.
Yeah. Started off the 4 films. I like the tension of being stuck in. I mean, I know 90s got stuck in an apartment block, but Wreck, just the pacing's really good, and I think you get thrown into 90s the World really quickly. Wreck's quick, but the previous part makes it like, okay, what am I watching? And when it hits, you're like, okay, we're all stuck in this now. I don't know. That's what I'm going with. I feel like, ask me that a few more times watching 90s the World, it might change, but still Wreck for me.
It's the 90s the World for me. This is simply about impact. I love Wreck. I think it's a great... If I'd done Wreck 3 versus 90s the World, I'd have been in a real bind then. Because to me, Wreck 3 is the finest one of the entire series. One of my all-time favourite zombie horror movies. However, Wreck came at a time when zombies were already feeling played out. It's not like it was an originator. It wasn't doing anything new or special like that. But what it did was it took all the elements that weren't fresh and went, hey, we're going to make a hell of a good movie out of it. I love that. That is why I love Wreck. It is a great zombie horror movie. But time the 90s the World came along, I had no interest in zombie horror anymore. Who the fuck did? And the 90s the World went, hey, we're going to give you a fresh take in this. We're gonna talk about a character, and it's gonna be him, and it's gonna be him predominantly. 90s the World makes me cry. It affects me emotionally, whereas Wreck doesn't. That's what the biggest deal is for me. I feel things when I watch the 90s the World. Its ending is one of my favourite endings in a horror, zombie horror ever, simply because it means nothing except hope. And that to me is so, when I'm looking for something to get my teeth into, The Night Is the World gave it to me. I can enjoy Wreck in a bubble and just sit there and go, it's frantic, it's heavy, it's harsh in your mind, it's scary, it's all these things. Brilliant. But Night Is the World says, no, slow down. We're going to slow it down. Yeah. And that's what we want to do for this film. That really worked for me. It really, really did. Yeah, so The Night Is the World. And last but not least, The Fog or The Mist? Now, The Mist is fun. The Mist has fun. But I think the scariest parts of The Mist are actually the sort of religious aspects and the sort of mental takeover of that sort of aspect. I think that's more scary than anything else.
Yeah, I think The Mist as well, the ending.
No, the ending is one of the most overrated things ever. And personally, I find it ruined by Thomas Jane going, no, no.
I saw The Fog a few times, but like it doesn't stay in my brain.
Whereas The Fog
I don't know.
is pure atmosphere. Pure
Yeah.
atmosphere.
It doesn't stay in my brain, The Fog.
Okay.
Like, I remember bits of it, but I don't remember the ending.
Okay.
So that's a
Well, that's
big thing.
yeah.
Really doesn't stay in my brain. The Fog. No.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
No, I remember the book I read. That was James Herbert. That's a very different
No,
thing.
it's a very different thing.
Jamie
Yeah.
Lee Curtis. There's a radio DJ.
Yep. Great voice.
Pop DJ. Yeah.
Yep.
But I just no. I
It
can't
doesn't stick. No, fair enough.
No.
No.
That's just me. So I don't know. It's weird because it's a centenary, isn't it?
Of the city.
Of the
Yeah.
city, and they have a big event, and
The boat of ghostly lepers, piratey lepers coming back. They'd been sunk 100 years before, whatever it is, 100 years before.
yeah, they come and get. There's a part of a grandma in it. Yeah, I've only seen it I think I've only seen it properly once.
Okay.
So forgive me if it's not. I know it didn't make that much of an impact on me. I know.
So you're choosing The Mist?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, of course I'm choosing The Fog. Obviously. Of course I love The Fog. Great movie. Great atmosphere. Got slasher tendencies, but I think for atmosphere alone and the use of the fog and how it rolls in and that terrifying kind of synthy music that you get from John Carpenter, yeah, to me it's one of my classic horror movies. There we go. There's our 30. There's 30 either or. What would you have chosen? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl as well as Big Cartel where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?